Sir, should we call
Yeah.
ma'am, sir?
Yeah, just I sent a message. Now I will. No, she only told me the timing. Hmm.
She picked up your call, sir,
Yeah, just.
because participants are waiting, sir. So
Yeah.
2:55 will be allowing the participants.
No, she's online now. She will respond. She will join, I think. She.
Okay, sir. Sir, ma'am responded, sir.
Yeah, she's live in the WhatsApp actually. I called her.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, she should. So we have another 5 minutes, no?
4 more minutes, sir, because people are waiting for.
Yeah, they're waiting there. I'm seeing that.
Yes.
Once we allow them, then it is difficult for her to join, no?
Yes, sir. That is why, sir. And
Mm.
we don't know in which name she is joining, sir.
Yeah, that's what I sent a message also. Maybe she is trying to, in WhatsApp also she is online.
Okay, sir.
Yes, she is in some other place actually, some other.
Okay, sir.
Mm.
So once again, you want to send the Zoom link, or she have it, sir?
I send it actually. You have
Okay.
already sent it.
I have mailed her also, sir.
You mailed her, and I
Oh.
also last evening I sent it to madam. Uh,
Sir,
Hello, Krishna. Namaste, Krishna.
Good afternoon, sir.
చేస్తారు ఇప్పుడే చేస్తారు స్పీకర్ జాయిన్ అయితే అందరినీ చేసేస్తారు అందుకని వెయిట్ చేద్దాం ఓకే సరే చేస్తారు దే ఆర్ వెయిటింగ్ ఓకే
Sir, is she in join, sir? Sir, you're in mute,
She,
sir.
yeah, now she's joining actually. She needs 2-3 minutes actually.
Oh, okay, sir.
Some small adjustment at the internet.
Okay, sir.
So she called me and said she's trying to work it out on that. So in the meantime, there are more than 80 people joined actually.
Yes, sir.
Once they join, then it is difficult for her
It'll be
to.
difficult for ma'am to join. Let us wait, sir. Let us wait for a
Yes,
moment.
yes, yes.
Mm, yeah.
Oh, see.
She's joined, sir.
No, no, just wait, just wait.
Okay. Sir, I think we have to send message in the waiting room, sir. In the waiting room participants.
Okay, okay.
So instead of
You,
everyone, you can make it as waiting room participants, sir.
Mhm.
Will they be able to see when they're in the waiting room?
Sir, they will be able to see, sir.
Waiting room people.
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay. It is very early, sir.
Yes, it's very early.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, because our timings,
You are maybe better, 5:30, 5:40.
in her case, it is 3:30 in the morning.
3:30, no.
For me also, it is So we go to the bed at about 12 o'clock. In between, to check again, we get up as usual. Priya, actually, I don't know, the waiting room participants,
Sir.
supposed to happen more. Oh, it's already 5:40, 10 minutes late.
But she's joining now, sir. She
She
said
will join.
okay.
She sent a message also. She sent a voice message also. There is a small
Technical
issue.
okay.
That's why.
Hello, Dr. Reddy. This is Dr. Cass. We just got power back. I am starting the internet. Give me 5 minutes. I will join. We've had an all-night power cut. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what actually now. Yeah, Priya, you just put a message in
Yes,
the
sir. I'm typing, sir.
there, but otherwise participants may feel little
Yes, sir.
inconvenience. So the Priya, so far, how many episodes are over?
So that we have to check, sir. I'll check and get back to you on this.
Once it is 99 is over, then
Okay.
100th one, we thought of organizing little differently sometime back.
Yes. Sir,
Maybe with
actually it says, sir, now it says this meeting has reached a maximum of 100 participants. So ma'am may not be able to join. So just message her that once she wants to join, let us remove a few participants, sir. Once she joins, then we will allow others. Can you just call her, sir?
yes.
Because I tried to join in some other mobile, but I'm not able to. It says this meeting has reached a maximum of 100 participants.
We have not yet allowed, no?
But the
But
entry
they're in the
itself is
waiting.
100, it seems, sir.
Yeah, that's what actually, she can join straight, no?
No, sir.
Hmm.
She cannot join. That is what it says. The meeting has reached a maximum of 100 participants.
Yes. Hello? Yes. With what name you are entering? Dr. Kosturi Henry. Are you joining now? Oh, you're already in. Okay. Priya,
Ma'am is there, sir.
she is already there. She is also in waiting, actually.
Okay, sir.
Dr. Kasturi Henry.
1
Her
minute, sir.
name is Kasturi Henry.
Ma'am has joined,
You
sir. Ma'am has
joined,
joined.
no? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
now you are. Okay, now we'll start.
Once she checks her audio and other details, we'll allow, sir.
Please check your audio. Okay. Dr. Kasturi? Ah, yes.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, namaste.
Uh,
Hello, ma'am.
Priya, now you can start.
Yes.
You allow them.
Can I allow? Yes.
Yeah.
1 minute, sir. I'm just allowing all the participants.
Oh, Professor Nandagopal sir also is on the waiting.
Oh, okay, okay. The Kasturi, sorry, Priya, once you say, start it.
Yes, sir. We can start, sir.
Yeah. Very good afternoon, all of you. I am Professor P. Narayan Reddy, Regional Vice President, South, Association of Indian Management Schools. On behalf of AIMS, I welcome all of you to this international webinar on an important topic, that is international certifications, integrating global workforce readiness into higher education, or specifically management education. And I'm extremely happy to discuss on this particular topic. We have an international renowned speaker to speak on this particular topic. She is Dr. Kasturi Henry. She is a very, very popular in both social media and also in the television shows in America and across. Dr. Kasturi Henry holds PhD. He is driven by her mission of building to last and enabling for success. She is the CEO of Cos Henry Inc. and the founder of Enabled for Success Institute. Her business, change management, financial strategy, business process improvement, and leadership acumen, including global acquisition of the Duracell brand by Warren Buffett from P&G, standing up as the global leader of L&D and financial processes, transforming the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund as the CFO, and many more. She is a graduate school professor. She continues to transform the students representing the United States military, public safety, private sector, and non-profit sectors via Southern Illinois University, DeVry University, and Norfolk University. A centered approach to solve life's challenges is the theme of her weekly international podcast, Unless Your International Goalie Picks. How to get it just right is some of the very briefly I'm able to present it before you. And I'm extremely happy to welcome Dr. Kasturi Henry to this particular program. In fact, she is very, very busy. And at this time, in fact, it is a very, very odd time for her, early morning, 3:30, 3:40. At this time, still, for the sake of love and affection that she has for the Asian environment, particularly for India. She originally hails from Sri Lanka and moved via to USA and holding number of positions and responsibilities. Thank you very much, Dr. Henry, for joining us. Before I invite you to address the participants, it is the formality to introduce my own organization, that is the Association of Indian Management Schools, to you as well as to the participants. The AIMS is a prominent organization that represents management education in India, founded in almost in 1988, aims to promote the quality and development of management education across the country. It serves as a networking body for management schools in India, facilitating collaboration and exchange of ideas among member institutions. AIMS organizes various events, conferences, and workshops to foster academic and professional growth in the field of management. It also plays a key role in policy advocacy, working with the government regulators to influence management education policies to have the quality management education in the country. The AIMS conducts AIMS test for management admissions, one of the 5 recognized admission tests in India by the Government of India. And AIMS is committed to enhance the quality of management education and also having a positive direction to management education and many more things. With this few introduction about my organization, and I once again welcome you and also the participants. I am very, very happy to see that many senior academicians from India, including Professor Nandagopal and Professor Pawar and others, are also joined along with our Executive Secretary, Professor Durga Prasad and others. I would like to inform the participants, please, if you have any observation or a question, please put it in the chat box. Dr. Kasturi will respond accordingly. With these few introductory remarks, I once again welcome all of you. Now, Dr. Kasturi Henry will address us. Thank you very much. Dr. Kasturi, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reddy. It's a joy and an honor to join you and your institute and the audience here. Thank you for having grace for me as I am joining you just after 3:30 a.m. my time. As we get started, Dr. Reddy and I were talking about the importance of credentialing, professional credentialing in higher education and why we need to integrate that into our university curriculums. As a finance practitioner and as a finance professor, I actually got into the classroom to teach because I found it better to recruit from my classroom. In the United States, a CFO is personally criminally liable for anything that goes wrong in an organization, whether we knew about it or not. So when that level of responsibility is placed on a CFO, as a CFO, I needed to make sure I am bringing in individuals who understood not just the subject matter, but they understood the technical technology integration. And they also understood the fiduciary responsibility and the ethical professional code of conduct that needs to come alongside. And when we think of governance, I want us to think about it's not just driving organizations' profits and results, but true governance needs to be thought of as the three-legged stool. 3 legs are the interest of the individual, interest of the organization, and interest of the underlying society in which the organization is hosted, whether the organization is not-for-profit, government, or private sector, it doesn't matter. And if any one of these are compromised, then the entire system collapses because it'll be like a stool with one leg weaker than the others or one leg shorter than the other two. Either way, the stool is no longer stable. The stool is no longer viable. And how are we educating in a way that we're not just teaching the subject matter, we're integrating workplace technology. And in addition to the technology, we're bringing in professional code of conduct so that we can preserve governance and we can preserve our fiduciary responsibility. So that's where my journey into education started. So for the last 24 years out of the 27 years I've worked in the United States, I have been a graduate school professor alongside being a private sector practitioner. But I want to take a step back. While I'm Sri Lankan, I got educated in India. I did my PUC and my undergraduate degree from Bangalore, Mount Carmel College, Bangalore University. And one of the most valuable things about my undergraduate degree was I got to major in computer science, math, physics. And for the computer science major, our exam included 4 of us as students getting together and forming a team, identifying a real workplace problem, and then going and sitting down with that organization and talking about how we can solve the problem, get them agree to allowing us to solve the problem, develop a solution, build the solution, test it, and implement it. And our exam was actually the Bangalore University examiners coming and testing how the system we built is working for the client and how the client can troubleshoot for their customers' everyday transactional needs. I have carried that with me. That education allowed me to become a management trainee for Standard Chartered Bank straight out of Bangalore University. As a 21-year-old, I joined the management ranks to go and build the international trade finance and treasury platform in 1991. The kind of education we are able to give in our part of the world is already possible to start integrating into the workplace and professional credentialing. So I wanted to start with what we know to do and how we do it right. Now, if we go one step further and start thinking about, okay, when we're teaching finance, are we only teaching financial methodologies and tools? Are we integrating it into modern day technology? Are we integrating bots and AI into the way we teach? Are we integrating decision support systems and ERP systems? And are we also making sure when our students are taking the classes, they can go and sit for the FP&A credentialing or international finance and treasury credentialing? Why is that important? I was looking at the statistics. There's a good portion, more than 1/3 of graduating students from Indian universities are having a challenge finding a job. Employers are not in the business of giving people jobs. Employers are in the business of solving their client problems. And when our students can show up with a degree and professional credentialing, they automatically rise to the top of the recruiting pipeline, and they are going to be better candidates for global corporations to recruit from, global organizations to recruit from. And as educators, then it becomes our responsibility to stay current with what's going on in the world and integrate that into our teaching, and then start identifying what are the international professional credentialing organizations. How do we integrate their curriculum into our program so that as our students take our classes, we're also preparing them to go sit for that professional credentialing? When I came to the US as a 29-year-old working adult to get my MBA, I did 2 things. One, I negotiated with the university to allow me to automate the university financial platform, and in return asked them to pay my tuition and give me an allowance for cost of living. So I didn't have to spend my money to get my MBA. They got a project accomplished for a fraction of their cost they would pay otherwise. And I got myself a fully funded education. The second thing I did is I came into the US with an international banking certification, but United States doesn't recognize any international credentials. They wanted local credentials. So I reached out to the Association of Finance Professionals and said, here is my background. I have 5.5 years in international banking. The curriculum is aligned with what your subject matter is. What do I need to do to be able to sit for this professional credentialing so that when I pass out with an MBA, I also have my certified treasury professional certification. So that I am going to be more than just an MBA looking for a job. I'm going to be an experienced international finance professional with treasury and risk management credentials with an MBA looking for a job. And they told me all I had to do was take a class, and that course was already integrated into my university curriculum, because at that time, the person writing the textbook to drive that education was one of our finance professors at the university I went to. So I talked to the professor, I sat for the exam, and while international students take a longer time to find jobs in the US, with my professional credentialing, I was able to get a job 1 month before I graduated. So my personal experience has taught me that if I can give my students the opportunity to get professional credentialing, I am going to give my students a leg up. So one of the universities I teach for GHU in the Caribbean, I am already working with the Association of Finance Professionals to integrate the trade finance and treasury and risk management curriculum into the courses, so that when students who are majoring in finance go through their degree program, they're also learning and preparing to sit for the CTP credentials. Our goal is to get as many students as possible credentialed, whether it's an FP&A with analytics, treasury with risk management, or any of the other accounting and finance credentialing, whether it's CMA, whether it's IMA, whatever credentialing that is relevant in your part of the world, in the international world. Let's figure out how to do that, because your curriculum already probably covers 60 to 70% of what you need. It's a matter of layering in the other elements and making it real life workplace relevant. So as I go through that process and as I share this with you, I'm going to pause there and see if you have any questions, because it'll be more impactful for me to answer your question and make this conversational. Dr. Reddy, does anybody have any questions? Better go look at chat.
Yes, the issue is mainly the demand and supply of skilled workforce. There is a huge gap between the two, and particularly in the Asian environment and more so in India, the supply side, the quantity wise is very, very high. And in fact, the skill requirements are changing very fast. In view of this, how uh, skills can be enhanced along with the theoretical knowledge that the students are having in the teaching learning process, how this certification is going to bridge that particular gap. That's what actually most of the time the people, in addition to 3 years or 4 years degree programs that they complete, after that many students again go for very capsuled programs like 1 month program or 3 months program certificate. Ultimately, many students are getting more value with that particular short-term certifications. So how to enhance the skills with the help of these certifications, and how to bring those things into the regular curriculum if possible, or maybe in the form of a collaboration way, or the integrating that particular skill component into the curriculum.
Absolutely. Those are amazing questions, and I'm seeing questions coming up here. So when we look at accounting and finance field, there are a lot of credentials. There is CTP for treasury and risk management. There's FP&A for planning, forecasting, and analytics. There is, in the United States, AICPA, but that would be CIMA, I believe, in Asia. I am not very familiar what financial accounting credentialing is in India. There is Institute of Management Accountants that is international for management accounting. There is Institute of International Auditors, Internal Auditors, IIA. That is an international credentialing. So there are multiple organizations. There is a International Marketing Association. There's International Management Association. There is Change Management Association. There are so many different areas in which we can specialize. And so students get to choose. One of the things I would say is choose the field your psychographic profile is most conducive for. What do I mean by that? If I like routine and I like structure and I need to have certainty every day in what I'm expected to do, then my psychographic profile, my psychological framework is more suited for financial accounting because it's very predictable, it's very routine, it's very structured. If I like to look at what's going on in the world and understand the risk and ramifications of country risk, political risk, economics, politics, government, and business, then treasury and risk management becomes what's going to be the right thing for me. And if I love constantly looking for improvement and how do I continually drive progress and improvement in my organization, and I want to be strategic and I don't like routine, then FP&A becomes the field that I'm going to be the most psychologically affiliated with. So students knowing how to pick what's right for them and the professors being able to guide the students based on how students are showing up is part of the puzzle. The other part of the puzzle is then based on where the student is going to be successful and based on their wiring and their psychological and their makeup and their technical capability. Then it's a matter of giving all the external elements as skills. What do I mean by that? In the classroom, we're giving knowledge. We are giving them activities and problem solving. So we're trying to simulate through case studies experiences. And we are only dealing with one side, the brain and the thinking part of the learning and development. At work, we're going to need the other part too, where we are converting the knowledge into wisdom. To convert the knowledge into wisdom, we need to give our students tools to think beyond the subject matter. Because the subject matter in a vacuum is not going to help solve real world problems. Students need to be able to take the subject matter and apply it to real life context. What do I mean by that? If I'm working in a bank and the bank is doing things, say, for example, the United States mortgage crisis, when banks started giving loans to people who couldn't afford to repay, and then take those loans and start packaging it as derivative securities, and we are selling it, are the employees smart enough to say, hey, wait a minute. If we do this, there's going to be default, and we've just passed the default from our bank's balance sheet to all the investors' balance sheet, and we've taken an institutional problem and created an economic problem for everybody who's in the marketable security marketplace. Nobody stopped to ask that question because everybody was just following the process, and we're doing what we're asked to do, and we're looking at the numbers, and we are going through the mathematical financial calculations without thinking. When all of these defaults happen, people are going to declare bankruptcy. In 7 years, they can restructure and come back, but by then, the economy has collapsed. How do we connect the real world ramifications and the right thing to do and not right thing to do into our mathematical financial calculations, our decision making, so that we truly are mindful and we are building to last. We're building for sustainability. We're building for growth. So are we integrating the ability to think what the human behavior is going to be and what is the rules of choice and consequence? We have an advantage over the Western world in this area. You know why? Because we grow up with understanding what karma is, right? Karma is the law of consequences. I make choices. From those choices come consequences. It's not good or bad. There are consequences. And do I know to discern those consequences? And am I making choices in a way that every choice has consequences? And as I am making choices, I'm making choices so that I reduce the risk, but then I also have mitigation for any reduced risk that can happen. So can I be 2 steps ahead? Do I have the skills and capabilities to be 2 steps ahead and constantly course correct and look at what's going on in the world and how all of that interaction affect like a 3D chess game going to come together, and what is going to be the impact of my decision, and therefore what is the best choice to make? That becomes the question. And the best visual, I'm a visual thinker because I'm not a native English speaker. I grew up in Sri Lanka learning in Tamil. So I think in visuals so that I can speak in the language I'm speaking. And the visual that comes to my mind, and I know when I explain it, you will understand. India knows how to do this because I always use this as an example in the classroom. When you throw a frisbee for a dog, you don't assume for the dog to know geometry, to know trigonometry, and to know physics. But the dog knows instinctively the speed at which somebody is throwing the frisbee, where it's going to go, what angle it's going to go, and what trajectory it needs to cut across to show up and catch the frisbee. And I believe India as a society knows to do this because I was in India when India shut down the economy to grow from inside and then opened up the economy for the global marketplace. And what India successfully did is built everything in country, developed the talent, and met the world to serve the information economy, bypassing the manufacturing economy, right? So there is the foresight, there is the ability to see long distance and plan. How do we take that skill and capability and slightly pivot today to start giving students the capabilities beyond the classroom technical knowledge and case study experience to truly convert that to wisdom and understand where the world is headed and show up there to solve the problem?
I would like to interrupt you at this stage, actually. As you said very rightly that the bringing that practical experience into the uh, curriculum part and also the classroom, actually. Who can be the catalyst in this process between the institution and the certifications to help the student to increase his decision-making capacities and improving his or her competencies? You have mentioned some of the international certification agencies, actually. So who can play the catalyst role between these two?
So having the right partner to look at your curriculum, look at what the credentialing organization wants, and then layer in those elements, that person becomes your catalyst, right? So I am happy to help in any capacity I can because I do that for universities in this part of the world. India, South Asia is my home. So I am always committed to helping my people. So this is my people. So just like I can help in finance, we need to identify who are the people who can help in marketing, who are the people who can help in management. And keeping in mind, in marketing, we need to integrate marketing analytics. When we are teaching HR, we need to integrate HR analytics. and bring the technology component in so that we are setting up our Indian students, Asian students to show up with more than what a Western university student is going to show up. Because that way we can compete and get the jobs outside of India, right? We have a larger supply because we have a larger human population. And the United States and the developed countries are going to go through a massive cliff of decline in youth population, decline in university admission, and there's going to be such a shortage in talent in the West.
No,
How do we
again, I
make
would
sure our students show up to take those jobs?
again, I would like to ask a basic issue here. When we bring the certifications agencies into the partners of the educational institutions, compared to the existing education cost, the cost of the certification programs are a little bit higher side compared to the Indian environment or Asian environment. And how can we make it as a mass movement so that the certification agencies can associate with the education institutions with a minimum cost? Actually, what type of way out we can find in this process?
I love that question. Thank you so much, Dr. Reddy, for asking that. I am a believer that there's always a way to negotiate, and United States price points or Western world price points are very high for our developing country cost of living and standards. What we can do is talk to them and negotiate to figure out how can we reduce the price to increase the volume so that overall they still make what they need to make, but they make it in volume. Because if we think about the fortune at the bottom of the pyramid strategy, it talks about when you serve the bottom of the pyramid nations, which is Asia, Africa, and Latin America, organizations have to show up with the mindset that you have to bring high quality, low cost solutions so that you can help these bottom of the pyramid communities become successful, but you do that by lowering price point, but increasing volume. So it is something that we need to very strategically negotiate with these organizations. And given that we have the population size on our side as Asians, as South Asians, it is something that I believe we can make an attempt at negotiating. It would be prudent on their part to entertain that.
Yeah, actually, in the continuation to the same point, actually, why can't we? Definitely, the certification agencies will come into the picture. And is there any scope to regularly integrate the same into the regular curriculum? See, the most important issue is our regular teaching learning process is more of a theoretical oriented, and how to make it more skill oriented. When we raise that question, the certifications agencies will come into the picture. Here comes two things. One is the part of the regular curriculum itself. We can have at the end, we can separate the both a degree and a certification, one aspect. Second thing is certification agencies, again, mushrooming in the market with the varieties of certification programs. Do you think there is a need to also have some credentials for the certifications agencies too? That is the second thing, actually. Yeah.
So great question. So what I would say is, having lived and studied in India, one of the things I would recommend is, instead of having the students be able to repeat what they read or heard, asking them to write in their own words the answers and then integrate their answers to tie to a real world example is a good way to change their thinking from rote memory knowledge transfer to independent thinking and applying and problem solving. That is one. And two, when I say credentialing agencies, I would only work with credentialing agencies that are recognized by industry. So there is only one international trade finance, treasury, and risk management credentialing body. The credential is CTP and the credentialing body is AFP, Association of Finance Professionals. That is the only one. That is the gold standard. And any other certification is not in par with that. And that is what banks and corporations are looking for. When it comes to FP&A, there is only one. AFP is the only organization that offers FP&A and CTP. And nobody else is in that marketplace. And they are the standard. And so, and AFP is a partner for ACBSP. So they're already partnering with the School of Business credentialing body. Now, when it comes to other things, accounting, AICPA is only US GAAP. Therefore, they're not teaching international financial standards. It's not IFRS. So I would hesitate to say we want our Indian students or South Asian students getting AICPA credential because it's not going to be relevant in the global marketplace. As a global CFO, I can't just hire American accountants because they don't know to do international accounting. I have to hire people with IFRS and language skills. I need people who know international accounting and Chinese, Mandarin. I need international accounting capabilities with Russian and Polish. I need international accounting capabilities with Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and Spanish. So are we also thinking of giving language skills to people so that they can play in the international arena? Because the minute you go to a country to do accounting and finance, we need to be able to write and do things in that language. And we need to build teams in those languages. So I would be mindful with the credentialing, only get credentialing that is truly international. And in the absence of one, we can work at creating in India that can serve the marketplace and then work with ACBSP and other institutions that are credentialing to get it to the place it needs to be.
Yeah. In continuation to that, see, in view of these changes, do you suggest the change that we should bring into the teaching learning process in the classroom is one issue? And do you suggest that the faculty in higher education institutions do need change in their approach to teaching learning process? These two things, how do you react on this?
I love that question. One of the things I do, even though I'm a practitioner, I bring other practitioners as guests into my classroom and have them talk about a real world scenario relevant to the topic we're covering that day. 30 minutes, they come and share the information in 15, 20 minutes, and then students ask questions. And then it also is an opportunity for me to connect the students with that professional so that people can have those conversations offline. Okay, that is one. And two, the old traditional teaching of I, thou, I'm the one with the knowledge, I teach you, you learn, and then you take my test. Those days are gone with the age of technology. Plus the fact that if we are professional educators, we have not been in the workplace and our students are coming from the workplace. One of the things I learned very early on in teaching is I first started teaching US military and public safety. So my students were police chief, fire chief, homeland security chief, and military leaders. I knew nothing about what they do. So I made a deal with them. You teach me what you do, And as you educate me on what you do, I am going to integrate how you use the tools of finance and data analytics into doing what you do better, right? So education has become a co-creative, collaborative process because students are the professionals and the educators are professional educators. It's helpful if educators have a business, they're consulting, they are in the practitioner world part and part in education world, but that's not always possible. So when that's not always possible, then we need to figure out a way to pair with the professors a group of practitioners. So for example, people like me, can we come into the classroom 2 or 3 times a semester and bring that practical knowledge and co-create that wisdom creating process? Because learning is more than just getting knowledge. And how do we bring the professionals to partner, practitioners to partner with the educators, and therefore upskill the educators and allow the practitioners to then bring some of that into the classroom? It also then allows the practitioner to identify candidates that they can hire for their company. When I was a CFO at Aon, I was a very young 32-year-old CFO for one of the largest risk broker company in the United States, global company. And one of the things we realized is the best way for us to recruit for risk management and finance is through university partnerships. So part of what I did as a CFO is establish 16 partner universities. We got into the classroom, we worked with the School of Business to modify curriculum. And we went into the classroom and we team taught with the professors. And then the second and third and fourth year undergraduate degree, in the summer, we brought the students as our interns. And at the end of it, so every year we brought 60 students. And at the end of every year, we had about 20 students graduating from university, and we recruited purely from our early career development pool. And when we recruited them, we put them in every 6 months in related roles. So if they came into accounting, the first 6 months they were in accounts payable, the second 6 months they were in accounts receivable, the next 6 months they were in financial accounting, and in the last 6 months they were in planning and analysis. We needed to see where their skill set was best matched and where they were going to thrive, so that there was a meeting of the minds before we set their career path. So we took a responsible approach. I published that process as a peer-reviewed journal article. I am happy to share that with you, Dr. Reddy, so that you can share it with this community. But that is a blueprint we can replicate and partner with corporations to bring that insight into the classroom, and in return, set up internships. And they don't have to be just Indian companies.
Yeah, I would like to again say a small observation here. Whatever the example which you have shared with the participants here, like bringing the practitioners into the institution or into the classroom and modify the curriculum with the help of the practitioners, definitely that is possible, particularly in the Western environment. Whereas in the Asia, more so in Indian environment, uh, the size of the students community is in lakhs and lakhs, and more than 50,000 education institutions and 1,400 universities. So it is a very big service sector in the world. So bringing, experimenting with whatever the example you have given may be a little bit difficult in the Indian environment. In that case, do you suggest that the technology will replace all, will uh, come and support the education institutions in the place of the practitioners coming into the classroom?
I don't believe technology is going to replace human leadership. So if we are only working based on knowledge and technical know-how, that is the part technology is going to replace. But the ability to synthesize that knowledge and make wisdom-based decisions where it's the heart, mind, and a informed wisdom-based approach, machine can't do that. Machine can replace the thinking, but machine can't replace the intuition and judgment.
Yeah, no, definitely. As you said, there is no replacement to human beings. But the issue is maybe we develop varieties of simulations where we have the real life situations, so that such a type of tools, if we can bring it out and help the institutions, that may help in addition to the practical orientation. Don't you think so?
Yes, if you're talking about having AI bots,
Yeah.
you have to educate the AI bots. It has to constantly consume information, right? So if you're bringing a finance AI bot, finance is a combination of economics, accounting, human psychology, and strategy. Can the bot be big enough to consume all of this in a real-time basis to simulate? And what is going to be the cost of doing that? Practitioners will come and do it for free because they're committed to being able to recruit quality candidates. The bot is going to take memory and reprogramming and updating and capacity in terms of technology, real estate.
Yeah. See, Dr. Kasturi, the one interesting point is you may be knowing that the Indian government has come out with a new education policy. And in that, specifically, the entire direction of the new education policy, along with the philosophical issues, skill development is one of the pillars of the new education policy. In that, along with the theory, skill enhancement should help the students to have a better competencies to meet the westernized decision-making processes, actually. So in the given situation, what can be the role of private agencies? One aspect. Second part is education institutions per se. What changes they can bring into the teaching learning process so that the competencies can be increased for the prospective decision makers.
Mm-hmm. So integrating Bloom's taxonomy into the curriculum and training the faculty to teach from the higher order of Bloom's taxonomy. So for those of you who are not familiar with Bloom's taxonomy, it is about how do you develop human cognitive capability. So the bottom of that human cognitive capability is information and knowledge. So societies that teach to the test, teach to rote memory, are only educating people to function at a high school cognitive capability level. At an undergraduate capability level, the workplace is looking for this, is can you apply and analyze and identify problems? And then at a graduate MBA level, the cognitive capability is can you synthesize real world environment and come up with strategic solutioning and serve up options and give us the pros and cons of all of that so that as an organization, we can make the optimal decision. There is no best decision. There's an optimal decision where you decide which aspects you can live with and which aspects you cannot live with, right? So the Bloom's taxonomy integrated education and training the faculty to do that, I would say would be the first step. Because then the professors themselves become part of the solution to teach differently, right? And then on top of that, then we can layer in anything else.
Yeah, that is definitely the positive point, that integrating precisely the Bloom's taxonomy into the curriculum process. In spite of all said and done, still the issue remains the same, that people prefers to uh, take the short courses, I mean small capsuled programs, which finally helps the students to get a better placement actually. So in that case, do you suggest that there is a need to have the international accreditation agencies to play a bigger role in helping the private agencies to have to help in turn to the education institutions?
So that's an interesting question. Professional credentialing private organizations, they're not academic institutions, they are professional institutions. They don't think of themselves as universities, they think of themselves as facilitating business and business growth and supporting the practitioner professional. So I can't see them becoming a part of an education institution, but they are willing to partner with educational institutions. I know for a fact that AFP is partnering with multiple educational institutions. They're partnering with the Caribbean University I teach for and I write curriculum for. And they're partnering with US universities. But not all universities want to partner with them. Because sometimes professors think that if all of this changes, then maybe I am not going to be relevant, because people don't like change. And if we're not willing to change, then we are afraid that if we brought something in, we become irrelevant, right? So that resistance is there even in the United States.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
the reality in the United States is more than 10% of the universities are going to go under. There's already mergers and acquisitions of universities, and the universities that are poised for the future are for-profit schools that are highly technologically enabled, because students in the United States and in the West are refusing to give up their jobs to go to school because the price point is too high, right? You have to spend over $100,000 to get an undergraduate degree, and you have to give up school. You have to give up work to come to school and sit and do this. And 2/3 of the cost is cost of living. 1/3 of the cost is tuition. Even for a residential student, international students' prices go up. So we are looking at the crossroads, even in the United States, trying to figure out where is that change coming from. Now, here is a great opportunity for Indian universities through ACBSP to build exchange programs for faculty and students, so that one semester come to the States or go to any other country and learn. And professors can come and teach as part of the exchange. Students can come and learn as part of the exchange. It can be an exchange program, and that is something we can look into, and I'm happy to help with through ACBSP.
Okay, as you said, very rightly, the exchange programs again. The standards again come into the picture actually, because there is a uneven levels of standards between the educational institutions in developing countries vis-a-vis with developed countries like America actually. So though education institution in India are preferred to have exchange programs, but it looks that some reluctance is there from the top institutions or universities from Western countries to associate actually. So we need some type of a strategy to work on this actually. Any suggestion do you give for this?
So ACBSP, the new chair of the organization, she has exchange programs as part of the priority for this year. So
Okay.
ACBSP is going to drive the exchange program. And I
Okay.
came out of an Indian education system. I went to work for an international bank. I would proudly put an Indian education against anything. I
Yeah,
remember
definitely.
sitting in the classroom and thinking, man, I learned all of this, and they're only teaching it now. I would say, unless you come for an MBA program, American education standards are much lower, much, much lower. Our children do so much better. Our students do so much better in the United States. We just need to give them the cultural assimilation capability. What they struggle with is the cultural part. The cultural intelligence, if we gave them, the academic part is easy for them.
Yeah, this is an excellent point, actually, that there are a lot of support to the Indian education system with your statement that our students are no way inferior to the other systems. Only gap is that cultural intelligence is the need. And if we can supplement that, I'm sure that, as you said, our students can definitely perform. But the one or two participants have raised the issue. Uh, like in other institutions, uh, we are admitting the students without having experience and straight away take the students into the classroom after completion of their undergraduation into the management programs. So that means they don't have any experience or practical exposure. Uh, what, how to bring that particular component is one observation. Similarly, that's what the continuation of this is that our students have minimal knowledge of the business and economy and more of a theory component. So, how to fill this particular gap?
The only way to fill that gap is tell the students, don't go straight from undergraduate degree to grad school, go work for 2 years and come back.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, that's the only way to get that, right? You're not going to get workplace experience in the classroom. And as an employer, this is a real employment dilemma. When students have an MBA and they're looking for jobs, they want to be paid like they're an MBA. But we'd rather hire people who have experience and pay for their MBA. Right? The higher your degree is with no experience, you're a liability for the business. You're going to ask for more money and you're not bringing any skills, workplace skills, because you've never set foot into the workplace. So we always tell
Unfortunately,
students, huh?
yeah, unfortunately, in the Indian scenario, once the student joins the workforce, coming back to improve the increase their academic qualifications is a remote possibility, actually. This is one scenario. On the other side, once they complete their graduation, they may not able to wait for the management education admission for a year or so. That is also another challenging task. Of course, these are all the various dimensions of the growing economy and growing service sector, actually. So, all the entire discussion has really helped the participants to have a better understanding about the how to bring the certifications into the classroom, and more so international certifications which are much more useful and valuable to the student to improve their competencies. Finally, what is your suggestion for the Indian students or Asian students when they are looking forward to uh, start their journey into the Western world? What caution and suggestion you can give as a final observation?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Cultural intelligence is key. how to show up, what to do, what not to do, how the culture and society functions, and how not to get offended by things when people don't understand us, and how to use humor to navigate all of that becomes critical. I can tell you from experience, I walk into a place, everybody assumes I'm Indian, right? So we're all South Asians. The world considers us Indian. There is a positive bias. They expect us all to be geniuses. That's a good thing, right? So if an Indian person is interviewing with so many other people, chances are Indian person is going to get the job, provided we show up with cultural intelligence and we have the professionalism to navigate. We're too busy teaching the subject. We're not preparing our students for life. How do we bring that in? The socialization. That is what we need to make sure we give students. And we don't need to do it in the classroom. What if every quarter we create simulations? What if we create places and spaces where these young people can practice with each other? That is a place where AI can help. An AI bot with different accents, AI bot with different mannerisms. And research has shown that humans find it easier to learn from AI when it comes to those kind of things than from a human, because we are not afraid of being judged. The AI is not going to judge us. So that is an area, even in the United States, even for leadership training and coaching, AIs have become a better mechanism than coaches. So I would say, with Indian technology background, let's figure out a way to create AI bots that's going to give students those cultural competencies, the socialization capabilities. And then let's equip the teachers, professors to bring in Bloom's taxonomy. And if possible, let the students go and work in the summer. I guess in India and Sri Lanka, it's summer all year. But somewhere for 3 months, let them go work, make some money, come back to the classroom.
Yeah, definitely that your observation is valid, but now we have to take the students to that level. Actually, as you said in the initial remarks, the psychological mindset of the student is going to be the major issue. If that change is there, I'm sure that parallelly things can happen. They can learn on one side, they can also earn on the other side. But all said and done, some what observation related to the entrepreneurship and innovation. There is a question that any suggestions to Indian management students on entrepreneurship and innovation. So one question, one observation has come. Do you react on that?
So how let me rephrase that to make sure I understand. The
Any
question is,
suggestion?
how can Indian management students, how can they become entrepreneurs is the question?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Entrepreneurship requires you to know a variety of aspects of business, right? So to become an entrepreneur, to start a business, you need to know what you want to bring to the world, right? So the rule number one is it has to be something you're extremely good at. So you love doing it, you're good at it, and the world needs it. The Venn diagram of where all three meet is your value proposition for that business, right? Identifying that is important. Then, do you have the knowledge, the capability, and the money to invest in it? A lot of entrepreneurs take their idea and start it, but they don't have the financial capabilities. They don't know accounting and finance to strategically plan this. They don't know marketing to go to market. How do you get all those pieces? Are you willing to collaborate with other people and put a 5-6 member team and do it as a team? Or are you intentionally wanting to do it by yourself culturally? Are we able to collaborate? Those become the questions.
Okay.
And then,
So
as
thank
an
you.
entrepreneur, are you going to be able to allow the people who are investing in it to be part owners of the business?
Okay. Now we can conclude the session because we have crossed the time. For the participants' sake, the feedback form is there. A link is also given, and some of the participants are very much interested to read your articles. So I'm sure that I request the participants to please go to the LinkedIn profile of Dr. Kasturi Henry. Her articles and many more details are available in the LinkedIn, and you can connect her based on the your requirements, if at all anything is there, academic as well as service components. Please, she will be available, and I am sure that she may visit India also soon, maybe after 5-6 months, and we can definitely associate ourselves with Dr. Kasturi, and she loves to visit us and interact with the education institutions in India. So thank you very much, Dr. Kasturi Henry, for accepting our invitation and addressing our participants and the faculty on the AIMS platform, in spite of the odd time. Actually, this is really a odd time for you and also for me. Presently, I am also in USA, but this session is very, very fruitful, and you have shared your practical experiences and also the background for certification activities into the educational institutions, particularly in India. I sincerely thank on behalf of Association of Indian Management Schools to you and your office for making this particular session a very, very successful one. I wish that in the days to come we can associate ourselves, AIMS, and also your organization, and to go a long way in bringing more and more sharpening things into the academic environment. I sincerely thank from the bottom of my heart for having accepted our invitation. And I also thank the participants for having spared their valuable time and listened to Dr. Kasturi. And I'm sure that there are certain quality takeaways from this particular session. And I also thank my organization, AIMS, and AIMS staff, Executive Secretary, Dr. Durga Prasad, and also technical staff, both Bichu Naik and also Priya and others, for making this session fruitful one. I sincerely thank all of you for having attended this session. Let us hope in the days to come she will again come back and live to interact with our students. So thank you very much. And
thank you very much. Thank you. And I put my link to all my publications so people can go and download. I just put it on the chat.
Yeah, please. That will help the participants to have a better idea about it. Because this small session, like 40-45 minutes, we may raise some basic few issues, but many more things are there to learn and understand. So this is a continuous process for the sustainable academic environment. So thank you very much, and we will meet again. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
The Priya and Bishu Naik, please call up the
Sure,
meeting.
sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.